Welcome back for another episode of Branching Out with Sierra. In today's episode, we have Lisa Herndon back with us again. If you didn't catch her last episode, it was based on communication. It was a great episode, and we'll be sure to put that in the show notes for you to access. But I'm so glad that she's come back to speak with us again. The topic today is about calm not being an accident. And the reason that I chose this topic for us today is because I realize all around me, it happens all the time. We have the difficult conversation that pops up, or an unexpected email that sets us off, or a family conflict or situation that occurs. And we have to figure out how to solve that in the moment. But we also realize that people are paying attention to how we show up in those moments. Are you showing up in a place of calm? Are you reactive? Or are you taking time and responding effectively? And I thought Lisa would be a great person to talk to about this based on her role, and I'll have her introduce herself again. But she spends time out in the public all the time, in the public eye, reporting news, serious business, things that are happening in our communities, and she has to remain calm no matter what's going on around her and be really careful about the way in which she shows up, showing that it's still a safe place in the community, and the place in which you work and live, what's going on around you, keeping folks updated, building trust with the community, all important pieces. So no matter where you are, even if you're not getting behind a podium to share what news is going on in the community, this still applies to you because we all deal with these difficult situations, and I think it would be valuable to think about how we're showing up. So thank you, Lisa, for being here today yet again.
I love it. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a holiday weekend when we're recording.
Yes.
Do you have plans for the weekend?
I've got a lot of plans for the weekend.
Yeah.
I have multiple jobs. I do multiple things, as you know. So I'll be working this evening. Tomorrow I've got a great event, doing a parade and other things like that. And then this is a weird concept for me.
Okay.
I think I might go on vacation for a few days.
Wow.
I know. I can't believe I found the time.
Yeah.
And am able to make it happen. I'm going to knock on wood because, something could always come up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so lots of busy. So basically doing all three jobs this weekend.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It is.
But hopefully you have fun doing all of them, right?
I love doing all of my jobs.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I was going to say, you make the most of everything you're involved in. This segment is brought to you by Work Smarter Digital. If your follow-up moves slower than DMV traffic, it may be time for Work Smarter Digital. Work Smarter Digital gives small businesses a fully built, ready-to-run CRM sales system so you can stop wasting months setting up software and start following up tomorrow. This is your sign. Get the CRM. Get the system. Get moving. Visit WorkSmarterDigital.com to learn more and book a demo. That's WorkSmarterDigital.com. So can you remind our audience a little bit about your background and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I started out in broadcasting, talk radio, sports coverage, TV, and radio, and had a great career. Absolutely loved it. At the end of my broadcast career, I was on 92.5 Wink FM with Barry Lee, whom everybody loves and adores, as my radio partner. And we continue to do work together to this day. So a lot of parades and events and things like that. I'll be seeing him tomorrow, text with him regularly. His nonprofit Chain of Checks, we do a lot of work for. So I transitioned out of that into, my children were small. Morning radio is a very difficult life, especially when your children are so young. So I transitioned into public information and law enforcement. So I work for the Town of Herndon Police Department as the public information officer, which I was able to utilize those skills, my broadcast skills, and it translated very well. So when I explain to people what I do, I usually say media relations. So if anything's going on, I have to communicate with media, do interviews, arrange for interviews, and things like that. Community relations. So I work a lot with organizations and neighborhoods in the communities to help liaise with the officers in the department, seeing how we can help and organizing things. And social media is a huge piece of that as well. And then every other little thing that may come into the police department that no one's really sure who it goes to. I'll take care of that and make sure it gets done. So as a PIO, wearing a lot of different hats.
Yeah,
which I love.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And you're great at it.
Thank you.
And you were a major part of our Tri-State Leadership Summit in its first year. So you were MC and you're coming back again this year. So there's another example of an event you do in our community.
And that was amazing, by the way. So it was the first year and you and your team crushed it at the Maryland Theater in Hagerstown. And we packed the house and all of these amazing leaders from all different walks of life. And I think that's what's cool is that you were able to bring in all these different types of businesses and all these different types of leaders. And we had a great time and so looking forward to the second time.
Aw, thank you. Thanks for being a part of it.
Course.
And that is another perfect example of keeping the calm, right? Not everything's going to go as planned when you're on stage.
That's right.
And someone might take a little longer than expected or something runs short and you have to pivot on the spot and be able to, keep everybody calm.
Absolutely.
So I feel like that's why this is the perfect episode for you.
I love it. I love it. And that, yes, things did change behind the scenes. And one of the things when I do events like that, and I do smaller scale events like that as well, as I tell the people that are hiring me, I got this. If there's changes, I got run of stage. I know you guys have something, but in the smaller ones that I do, I handle all of that. And you have to stay calm. You got to go with the flow.
Yeah. Well, I'm very impressed by it. It's something that I feel I can grow in. So I'll be learning from you today too.
Great.
Okay, so what does keeping calm under pressure look like in your daily life as it stands today?
Oh gosh.
You're going to have to put on each hat.
There's so many and they're constantly changing. So when you think about in our lives, now I may say that I have all these multiple jobs, right? And so some people may not be able to relate to that. But when you look at your own life and you have a business and a family, a household, and you have all of these things, everybody else has a million hats that they wear as well. So understanding that when you have on this hat and something goes wrong, when you have to take that off and put on your other hat, you have to maintain calmness to that or it's going to carry over and then people are going to feel that things are not right or things are amiss. So maintaining calm throughout everything, and it's not easy, and it doesn't always happen. That's just the nature of life. We're humans. It's not always going to happen. Something's going to get us. But it's so important for those around us and those that are in those spheres with all those different hats to know that I'm not going to carry this to that or everything is okay here. We've got to compartmentalize and there's just so many different things as human beings, especially in this day and age. 20 years ago it was completely different. 30 years it was completely different. There's just so much more that we have going on that we have to maintain for.
I do feel like you did this. I feel like it is rapid fire. There's stuff happening all the time. I think we also are in contact with one another all the time. So we're getting notifications from all directions and yeah, exactly. You and your darn phone.
Both of them.
Have you changed anything since Women of Winchester?
Okay, so I do have to tell you this. So my family, I've got a family calendar. So we're sitting at Women of Winchester and you're talking about, about how to stay focused and this. And that is so hard for me. And you're like, and people on their phone notifications. And here I am, literally, my other phone, I did turn off and is back there. So we were going over some notes. But I'm like, I feel attacked. Like this is my life. Like it's so difficult. So you had challenged us to set aside 90 minutes to focus and put things down. I put it on my calendar while we're sitting there. And one of my kids goes, "What's this 90-minute focus session?" And I was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's just something that I'm going to try and do. And I've got to, focus on my week ahead and see what I need to do and my long-term goals and this, that, and the other thing." And absolutely did not get to it. Absolutely, without a doubt, did not get to it. It was on my calendar. I got alerts.
Okay.
It's just so hard. And I think the intentionality of it, and I want that, like I crave that intentionality of let's sit down and let's focus and let's calm.
Yeah.
And, to designate those 90 minutes, something came up.
Yeah, of course
And
it does.
And, and it happens and you just have to adapt and adjust.
So the adapting and adjusting could look like, what if you actually just scheduled 15 minutes to start? What if you would start with 15 and when something comes up and that's on your schedule, ask yourself, is that truly more important than these 15 minutes? Can it wait 15 minutes?
See, now you're teaching me as we're sitting here on the fly and we're talking about different things, and I'm learning from you yet again. So yeah, like that's totally doable. The adjusting and the adapting, and I can take 15 minutes.
All right. Consider it done. Like you're going to add it before
I
you
am.
leave here today.
I am. You're going to watch me add it to my calendar, and there will be accountability.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
And know what you want to do with those 15 minutes. So when I challenged folks with that, I was challenging people because I wanted them to sit down with what we had reflected on that day and then consider, okay, look at my notes. How do I want to apply this? This is why I want you to slow down and look at it. So, consider if I had 15 minutes to myself that I could be proactively looking at my life.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
See, this is what I think is really cool about leadership, that it doesn't matter what stage or phase you're in, right? So in my businesses and in my professions and the different things that I do, I'm a leader in different ways in all of that. So I have much to impart on people. And now I'm sitting here and we're talking about leadership, and I am learning and calm under pressure, and I'm learning from you as we go. You always have to be open and willing to accept growing and getting better or improving yourself. Yeah. And I love it. And we just showed it.
100%. Well, that's learnership, right? Mm-hmm. Remaining curious, being a learner, a lifelong learner as a leader, or you're stagnant.
So this is really being a lifelong learner. It's interesting that you say that, because what I say now at 50 years old is that I wish I had my passion for learning and educating myself and learning all these different things 30 years ago that I have right now. And it's something that didn't come naturally for me to want to learn and all of that, except for, I studied broadcast journalism. Of course, I wanted to learn that. I wanted to learn all the things. But being younger, it just wasn't something that was important to me. I had my dream career. I felt like I was learning as I go from there. But now, as an adult and having had all these different jobs and responsibilities, it's like, what more can I learn?
Yeah.
What else can I do? How can I be better? Give me all the goods. I want to know. And I think that's very cool.
Yeah. Well, we can only hope that some of our listeners are getting started in their career and can kind of think about, how curious am I, and where could I be more curious and grow, seek feedback. Yeah. So something that you said I want to go back to, and that was being able to kind of move from this situation to this situation and not carry over what just happened here. I see that coming up even in a coaching session with someone, right? Someone is talking through their challenges with me. They're kind of pouring out their heart and what's going on in their life or their business. And sometimes it's heavy stuff.
Sure.
And I have to then get on my next call 10 minutes later and have a conversation and be fresh for them and give them my best. And I have found that to be challenging at times. I used to like back to back to back. And now I realize I need 10 to 15 minutes, or I can't approach that with the sense of calm. I feel like they can tell I'm carrying something coming in.
Right.
So how do you put that into practice to be able to be here in this situation? It's an emergency, a lot going on around you. Okay, do you just compartmentalize that and I'll come back to that later, and now I'm moving on? What does that look like for you?
It can be very difficult. But there's things, and this is a really, really heavy example of it.
Okay.
And I don't mean to get too heavy, but I think, as I was preparing and talking and thinking about this and calm under pressure, this was something that really changed the way that I approached this idea. So it's 9/11, and I'm executive producer of a radio show that's nationally syndicated. So we go to New York every week. 2 days a week we go to New York. So everybody usually flew up the day before, and then we'd be there and do the show. Well, that night I had a class. And so I couldn't go, so I went up the next morning. Land at LaGuardia 10 minutes before the first plane hits. I'm on my way into Manhattan, and it's all happening. And I see it. I'm with the cab driver. My mom calls. I tell him to turn on 1010 Wins. That was one of our sister stations. And we're hearing it, and it's happening. We're driving onto Manhattan, and freaking out. I let my people know back at the station that I'm good, I'm there, and I'll be there. I walk in, everybody is, oh, thank goodness you're okay. We're crying, we're whatever. And the lead of the show hugs me. He both hands on my shoulder. He said, I'm glad you're okay. We've got a job to do. And it was like that. And I learned, I got the goosebumps thinking about that. It took me a long time to process the fact that we were there and what was happening. Years.
Yeah.
I'm talking years, and I still have issues with it. But the fact that when you're in a moment when there is, and again, this is the highest extreme. I mean, we were on the radio all day with no breaks. If we needed a break, we would turn on the news station, but so to be there for those people at that moment. And that was just something that clicked with me. And I'll never forget his words. I'm glad you're okay. Now it's time to go to work. So the switch flips, and then you compartmentalize, and you have to deal with it later. And it's not, there's some healthy and unhealthy coping mechanisms that come with that. But that did teach me from day one that when it's time to work and there's a crisis, which is a lot of what I deal with as public information officer is crisis, but having to compartmentalize, flip that switch, but you have to deal with it later.
Yeah.
You have to. There's officers and detectives that see some terrible things, and it's a switch, and you have to flip it. But when you're off and you're finished and you're done, you still have to deal with those things.
Process.
So I give that example because that's the first thing that came to my mind, the calm under pressure and how do you compartmentalize. When it's your job and there's such, and it doesn't have to be something that high of a level and that much at stake. In our own lives, what's important to us is important to us. What's a crisis to us is a crisis to us. It doesn't matter the level of severity of it. It's a crisis. So to be able to compartmentalize, but always remembering that for your benefit, for your own well-being, you have to deal with it at some point. But so now I can completely respect that 15 minutes in between calls of that decompressing, that you have to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just becomes unhealthy.
And thank you for sharing that story. It's powerful, and I can see how that would be a pivotal moment. And what a great reminder of we have a job to do. That's an easy thing to remember, right? To calm myself down in a situation. I have a job to do, and that job doesn't have to be a paid job. That could be a mom that says, I have a job to do. I need to take care of my children right now.
Right. I'm hurting right now, but guess what? My child needs me.
Exactly.
Or a sibling or a parent. Or it's hard to see your parents going through this, but you know what? I have a job to do. I have to stay calm and be there for them. Yeah.
But you also said you have to process it at some point. And I have to admit, that's not something I've ever been good at. I think I just bury.
Push it deep down. Isn't that thing? Just deep down.
Deep down.
Yeah.
And then you open up a whole can of worms all at once when you finally try to unpack some of it and deal with it. Yeah. So I wish, like if I could go back, that I would have done a better job of dealing with things as they were happening and understand that I couldn't just keep burying. Right. So you talk about going back and being curious and wanting to learn more. I would go back and I would work harder at that because I feel like now is when I'm dealing with stuff.
And what we also just learned, but it's never too late to then become curious and work to improve ourselves and to not be better, but just be a better version.
Yeah. Every day. So in that example, even, it was a time of uncertainty. When times are uncertain, what do you think people are looking for in the leader?
Calm, confidence, and the ability to command the people around you and make them feel at ease.
Okay.
Sometimes that comes naturally to people, and sometimes it doesn't, right? Sometimes you naturally have that ability to calm those around you. You have the ability to carry yourself with that confidence. And sometimes it's learned. It's a little bit of both, right? And I think that's okay. I think that there's people that may not naturally have that ability to in a crisis, be the calm, confident, and steady. But we always, if you're in that position of leadership, you work at it. I mean, it's something that even when you do have it naturally and you do come by it naturally, that you have to always work at and always practice and train. So for us in crisis communications, that's what we train. We train on things, not things that do happen, but things that could happen. Yeah. Because there's so many different things when you're talking about public safety that could happen, that don't, but could. And so for what that looks like for our profession is having somebody come in and be that reporter and ask those drilling questions and trying to catch us off guard and seeing how we handle it. And it's terrifying and it's terrible. those situations actually are more terrifying when you're around in a room of your peers.
Yeah.
Right. And you have to get up there and you have to be the example. And we're going to try and trap you to see how well you can do. And if, are you, do you have your bridging statement? Do you have your, those kinds of things and all of those things in play, so that when it does happen and you're in those situations in a real life scenario, that you feel calm. And that's for me what it is. Like if I in a training room, I'm nervous. I don't get nervous. I don't get nervous to stand in front of the media and tell them what happened. Like, this is what happened and here's what we know. And to take those questions. Well, what I do know is that such and such, or also what I think is really, really huge about a leader is that we don't know everything, right?
Right.
So acknowledging that you don't have all of the answers when you don't have all of the answers, I think makes a leader even better.
Yeah.
We're not making stuff up. We're not pretending to know everything. We don't have all of the answers. None of us do. There's not one human being that has all of the answers. So to practice and to get better, and to train hard, train difficult.
Yeah.
Don't make it easy on you, so that when it comes real time, real life scenario, it does come naturally. And you do have that sense of calm. Because the training part, that's not going to be calm, right? You're going to be like, you should be like all anxious. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what, so that you know how your body handles. And there's a physiological aspect of it too. Adrenaline, anxiety, how's that going to work? And to just be able to, when you're in the moment, be able to handle business.
There's something you said, a bridging statement. And I'm curious, what is a bridging statement? And is there a certain way where you structure when you're sharing information? Do you mind sharing what that looks like?
So, okay, you're in a public safety situation. So when you think about a crisis, there could be information, first of all, that's always changing at moment to moment, as with any business crisis or family event or things, it's always changing and evolving. There's also certain things that in public safety you can't share at that moment. And it's not for any other reason other than it could compromise the investigation, right? So you have a reporter that asks you something about the relationship between suspect and victim. We're hearing that there's this, that, and the other thing. And well, what I can tell you right now is that they did know each other. And so this, so you don't address what you can't say. Here's what I can tell you.
Okay.
And that is a practice in public information that you prepare for. So if you don't have a crisis communications plan in place for an agency, which helps you with those things and is kind of like your template, before you go into a news conference or speaking with the media, you and your command staff's all on the same page, knowing what you can and can't share. And then that bridging statement that says, but what I can tell you is.
Yeah.
And that gives the people receiving that information something to go on and something to feel a little bit. I can't tell you the nature of their relationship. What I can tell you is that they did know each other. They did have a relationship of some kind. So
taking that into an organizational setting, I'm thinking about what you said about, leaders don't know everything and it's okay to say you don't know everything. Right. So that sounds like something that they could use. You're addressing your staff. Yeah. Here's the situation. What I can tell you is, but acknowledging that you don't have all the answers. Right. For those people who are feeling very uneasy about a situation, about whatever may be going on in the organization, they really need the confidence in their leader that their leader can handle it. And I think what you're telling me is they're still going to be confident in that leader despite them not having all the answers because they were authentic and they shared what they don't know. Absolutely. And acknowledging that you don't know everything. It does. Think about man, I don't know. I don't know. Other than, what I can tell you is that this, and I'm going to find that information out and I will let you know. Just a total difference of, even if it's just a little bit of that reassurance and that confidence makes everybody feel better and feel calmer. What do you tell yourself in those situations when you're not feeling calm? I want to know about your internal dialogue. What's happening for you? Okay.
Wow. That's a lot. There's a lot going on at all times. But I do have one, my favorite quote is, be in love with your life every minute of it. And I love that because sometimes life sucks. Sometimes life is hard. Sometimes life is amazing. Sometimes life is all of these things. But be in love with it. And I think that it just tells me, like, I know that everything is going to be okay at some point. It's going to work itself out, either in the way that I want it to or in the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So when all of these things are happening, to just know, like, this sucks. But you know what? This is part of life. Life is beautiful. And it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. There's a lot of other things going on in that brain. There's a lot of other inner dialogue, but I come back to that. Like, that's on my social media, not so that anytime I know that it's there, that's my reminder. Like, be in love with it.
Yeah.
Every minute. Embrace the suck, which was, we've heard, and roll with the beauty, like all of it. Inner dialogue, it's tough because everybody, no matter how confident, how great you are at your job, no matter who you are, there's always lingering self-doubt of anything. So I try to come back to that as a reminder that it's going to be fine. Mm-hmm. It's going to be fine. Now, there's times where I let down and I feel like, oh my God, nothing is going to be okay, and I'll have a freak out. Then that's nature. Like, that's part of life. We're humans. It's going to happen. Yeah. Nobody maintains a level, and if they do, I want whatever they're on, because that doesn't seem to me, in my experience in life, to be normal. No one's ever going to just stay like this the whole time.
Yeah,
we're definitely doing this. So what does that look like for us? Every individual is so different, and whatever gets you talked through it to get you closer to here for the longest periods of time. We want this too, but we definitely want.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I just had a conversation with a client the other day who they were expressing that they felt that they needed to be more positive all the time. And by the end of the conversation, we decided it's not possible to be positive all the time, but what if instead we focus on bouncing back more quickly, right? If the resilience improves.
Yes.
So you can have those moments where you're not positive, and it's okay, and you feel those feelings, but let's see if we can just bounce back more quickly than you're bouncing back right now. And that mindset shift seemed to help a lot, because when they were saying, I'm having trouble staying positive, they were setting themselves up for failure, because we can't be positive all the time.
No. And again, I don't know anybody like that. And if you are, like, let's definitely talk. But I love that, because we know that we're going to have those. Mm-hmm. We know we're going to have negativity. We know we're going to have self-doubt. We know that we're going to think that this is never going to get better. And then how do we come back to that? Doesn't have to go back up here, but come back to that steady and even. I love that.
Your little statement to yourself, is that a mindset, like, shift that you've had over time, that internal monologue, and you remind yourself how amazing life actually is? Did you develop that later in life, or has that been with you for a long time?
So that was as an adult. A little bit later in life. So, you get older, you have life experiences. And, when you're a teenager and a young adult and trying to find yourself in your early 20s, you're like, dude, this sucks. Like, this is really hard. I don't want to do this adulting thing. And at our age, I still don't want to do the adulting thing. But it was something that took me time to develop the appreciation for life and everything that it has to offer. Heartbreak and love, happy and sad, confidence and self-doubt, like all of those things all come together, and it's all part of this amazing thing that we do and we get to do. Like, we get to do this life.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. And it's what we make of it and what we put into ourselves and put out into the world. And so that was definitely a later in life thing. I went through a lot of self-doubt as a young adult, and had struggles. And it just, kind of just took time. Life experience, I think, also shapes that. When you have to go through various hardships of whether it's personal, professional, family, love, whatever, it kind of brings you to an appreciation of when things are great, having to have gone through those things to get to the good.
Yeah.
And that it's not always going to be all the good all the time, but it's still part of the process and still part of the journey. And
Yeah. I feel like you come back stronger. Any of the things that I look at that in the moment I said life sucks and I don't want to do this. After the fact, I'm grateful it happened in a weird way because I grew so much through the experience. And now I feel better prepared to handle something like that in the future. Like even with my Lyme disease, I'm now structuring my business in a way that I can still make passive income if I end up having a Lyme flare up and I can't work for a while. I have to learn the lesson from last time and now build this in a way that I can adapt more easily. So I'm always looking at things like that. Do you want to accelerate your revenue? Call Work Smarter Digital. Work Smarter Digital helps service-based businesses tighten up their sales process, improve follow-up, and put better systems behind their growth. Because when your sales process is messy, revenue gets messy too. Visit WorkSmarterDigital.com to learn more and book a demo. That's WorkSmarterDigital.com. At some point, growth requires more than listening to a podcast. It requires structure, accountability, and someone who can challenge how you're thinking. That's where coaching comes in. Our one-on-one coaching is designed as a long-term partnership focused on clarity, communication, and consistent execution over time. This isn't about quick fixes, it's intentional growth. If you're ready to go deeper, you can start by filling out the individual leadership interest form linked in the show notes. You can also learn more at SierraLearnership.com. That's SierraLearnership.com. This year's lineup brings real-world experience from business, media, government, and leadership at the highest levels, including a former FBI Chief of Staff, high-performing sales leaders, communication experts, and business strategists. This isn't theory, it's real leadership. Join us October 14th and secure your seat at thetSLS.com. That's thetSLS.com. Since this episode is talking about basically the fact that calm it's not an accident. We're intentional about being calm. For me, intentionality means having a plan. So I want to go back to what you said about doing the practice sessions of how am I going to handle this situation. Those difficult conversations that we have to have, if we take off the hat of public information officer for a minute and just say a difficult conversation with a friend, how much better do you feel going into that conversation when you've talked it out in the car yourself first? I know you talk to yourself in the car.
I absolutely do. On my way here was talking out loud to myself in the car, making sure that I knew what points I wanted to make, and in practicing that. I do that before a lot of things. Practice and walking yourself through. Doesn't that just naturally make us more confident in what we're going to say?
Yeah.
And how we're going to present? Never going into anything cold. You're having that difficult conversation. Replaying it, rewriting it in your own mind and how you want to say it. And choosing those right words. Putting yourself in the other person's position, right? I don't want to just come at you and be like, listen, this is a problem or we need to fix that. But also in the way that we're having those conversations, intentionality in the delivery and that emotional connection that we're going to have. But yeah, practice talking to yourself.
Yeah.
It's weird. Some people who don't do it like you talk, you speak, you deliver, you do things like this. For me, same thing. So for us, it might seem natural to practice and to run through these things. And I don't do them looking in a mirror. Though some people do practice looking in a mirror.
I wouldn't do that.
I don't do that. But definitely talking to myself in the car, at my desk, in my office, on the couch while I'm, it's definitely things that I've actually caught myself doing, not intentionally.
Because it's become a habit at this point.
Yeah, like thinking about it in my brain, and I'm just sitting there watching the TV, and, I think that, and I'm like, oh. Okay, nobody's here. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not weird at all. So that might seem weird to some people.
Yeah.
Like to talk it out.
Until they try it and they realize
Oh.
how much more effective it is. Because if you can hear yourself say it, you also realize what tone you might be using for your delivery.
Yeah.
Or I like to run different scenarios, if thens, right? If I
Yeah.
say this and they react this way, how might I approach it? But if they react with this emotion instead, how might I approach it? And maybe I do too many if thens, but it makes me feel better, again, to have the preparedness.
Right.
Because when I think about being prepared, I go through what are the things that cause me to have anxiety, that make me uneasy in my life, that I need to be more calm when I approach standing in front of an audience. I used to sweat like crazy every time I get in front of a group of people. I don't sweat as much now.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Just so you
That's
know.
good. Yeah.
But I think even knowing, adapting to the audience in the moment and reading the people and being able to say, I thought I was going to go this direction, but based on what I'm seeing in their body language, I think I actually need to go this route. I have to prepare for that too. So I think having, even if it's with a friend and not yourself, maybe people aren't doing it like by themselves, right? Maybe it's you practice with a friend or a significant other. I want to have this difficult conversation with someone at work.
Yeah.
Can I practice with you and see what it feels like? And you can even give me feedback on how I approached it. I've seen people do that, and that's
for sure.
effective as well.
So let's look at it this way. Like we're talking about this. I love the if-thens that you give. Because I know you said take off the PIO hat. When I spoke earlier about a crisis communications plan, right? So having a template for anything, and there's like 30, 40 scenarios that could happen given your community and your population size and your location. Part of that is anticipated questions from reporters. And then how are you going to, and having your command and the people that are going to be up there doing most of the talking, having them prepared. I think that the if-thens that you're doing by yourself when you're practicing those difficult conversations come naturally when you're talking it out with somebody else.
Yeah.
Hey, can I practice on you? And then them receiving that, be like, but what if they say this? So those if-thens that you're having with yourself carry over to all of these different things. And it's the same professionally as it is personally, and all of this carryover in communication and preparedness. It's pretty cool.
That actually made me realize, even as an educator, when I would create lesson plans, I would think about what misconceptions they might have so that I was prepared to walk them through that misconception. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
What questions might they ask? What misconception might they have that I'm going to need to tackle? It's all the same.
It is.
Yeah, this is why it truly applies to everything. And that's what I want these episodes to be. Not that, oh, I'm not a PIO, this episode doesn't apply to me, but how can I take this and use it anywhere in life? So thanks for helping bring clarity to this. As you prepared for this episode and the little bit of time that you had today, what are some of the things that you were thinking you really want to challenge our listeners to do based on trying to remain calm not being an accident in life? What do you want to challenge them to implement today?
Well, first of all, I think I do, and I just got the goosebumps when you asked that, because I think it's important also for people to understand that you might not think you have it naturally. And I think we addressed that earlier, and I think that's super important. I never want anybody to think, oh, I can't do that. I'm not cut out for that. I can't handle that. That's not me. I don't know what I'm going to do. How would I handle it? Because you will, and you can. But to learn, find a book. I mean, I love reading. We've talked about this before. I have zero time to read. I love reading. I don't know. I know the last book I read was To Kill a Mockingbird again, but I think it was maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. Like, I haven't picked up a book in
so
forever.
Your 15 minutes might be for reading?
It could be. I got to find the right book. I never want people to feel overwhelmed at it, that they couldn't do it, because you absolutely can. I don't have anything special that allows me to remain calm in a crisis. I don't have anything special. Nobody has anything particularly better than anybody else, right?
Yeah.
It's just different. So finding how you can learn and practice and try and implement, and it doesn't have to be a huge crisis. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a leaky pipe. How are you going to handle it at home? You got to stay calm. If you freak out, then it's going to leak more and you're going to have a flood in your house. Oh gosh, I just don't want people to think that it's too much and that it's overwhelming. And I told a really, really heavy story earlier about how it clicked for me. Not everybody's going to have a huge story or an intense story like that. They're just going to have their own that they can relate to and take in. But it's never too much. You can, everybody's capable.
Yeah.
It's just figuring out how you as a person make it work for you.
Well, I love that because it might seem really hard in the moment, but you are going to take some sort of action. You are going to do something when you realize that leaky pipe is there, right? And maybe you realize that time you weren't as calm as you could be, but to me, it's the reflection part of what would I do differently next time?
Oh my gosh, so many times in my personal life have I reacted and been like,
yeah,
wow, okay, why did I do that? And this has happened relatively recently where I was like, oh my gosh, that's why I reacted that way. Acknowledging it to myself, acknowledging it to, whomever else in the family or a friend, and actively working on it. Self-reflection is huge in self-education.
One of the things that I think of most recently that I was very anxious about and I just had to push through was honestly the summit last year. That was really hard for me. And you think of like...
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. Of course it was. Do you have any idea what you guys took on? I mean, the huge Maryland Theater, filling it with vendors and sponsors and people and the product on the stage, which was top notch, the audio visual piece of it, the teamwork that went into it, the number of volunteers. Dude, that was huge.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to feel a little overwhelmed and anxious. So you did a lot and you guys crushed it.
Well, thank you. It does mean a lot coming from you because you've been involved in a lot of events. I know that. So that is not something I take lightly. So thank you. But think of Bridezilla, but let's call it like Summitzilla.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt. Like I wanted to control all the things.
Yes.
But I knew I couldn't control all the things and I needed to trust the people. And that's why it was so valuable to have you there because you told us when we were planning, you brought calm to every situation. You're like, yeah, well, don't worry about that. I got it. Because we were like, we were trying to create an emergency plan. Matt was creating an emergency plan.
Yes.
And you're like, but I got it. Even if you don't have a plan,
I got it.
And it's not in your plan, I've got it. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Because it really did help and it allowed me to just trust. And the reason I'm bringing up this part is sometimes we just need to trust the people around us and know maybe we're not the best person to handle that situation. We don't have to handle it alone.
Yeah.
Like tap your people on the shoulder and know who can get you through it. And for us, that was you, and that was the people backstage, and Matthew, and everybody working together.
Hey, and that's not easy, by the way. It's not easy when I can't even go on a road trip, Sierra, and not be the one driving the car. Like, I have a thing with feeling like I have to control everything around. That is something that for me, I've just recently developed.
Okay.
The ability to delegate and to say, example, I've got a gal that I work with who is into social media and wants to help create the stuff. I'm a one-person team. I need help. And it wasn't until I would normally have been like, no, I got it. I'll figure it out. Like, I got this. No, I don't got this. I don't got everything. So I think that that's, for you, first of all, you did not exude Summitzilla at all on the outside. So I'm sorry for whatever you were feeling in here, but out here, you were cool.
Yeah.
So I do applaud your ability to recognize I can't do it all, and I'm going to know that the people and trust the people around me are going to be able to handle what I can't and what I'm not an expert in at that moment, because that's not an easy thing to do for somebody who feels that they need to. It's just easier if I do it.
Yeah.
It's too hard to explain it. I got this. I can do it. You can't. And you can't always. And that also leads into the ability for us to remain more even. So we're not going all up and down the road. I can't do A, B, C, D, and E. I can do A, B, and C. I need somebody who can do D and E, and I'll feel good and I'll feel better.
Yeah.
So I applaud you for, as not calm as you say that you were, for exuding it and for counting on those people around you.
Thanks, because I felt like I needed to model it because I knew there were other people that weren't necessarily calm either. And I need to like model the sense of calm.
Which is a huge, huge piece of being a leader.
Yeah.
Maintaining that and it not being felt by everybody around you. So
Yeah. The other thing is when you have a plan and something doesn't go to plan, that's the other control piece. So I'll give you an example of this. What happened that morning of the summit? So my parents had a really bad car accident last August. And, you know, up until that happened, they were going to be at the summit. They were going to help at the summit. I wanted them to be in the audience. It was important to me.
absolutely.
And I found out that they wouldn't be able to come. Despite all their injuries, they were still planning on doing it, but there was a level of anxiety they weren't going to be able to handle and being around that many people or traveling 81 to get there. So I was heartbroken that they weren't going to be there. So I cried the entire way to the Maryland Theater that morning. And I walked in crushed, wiping tears away. I didn't want people to know. Like I was so upset, right? But that was a hard transition to like snap out of it. And it goes back to like, you've got a job to do. You've spent months preparing for this. You can't let the two people aren't going to be in the room ruin the entire day.
And that was never shown to anybody around you. Nobody would have known that you were experiencing such personal heartbreak.
Yeah.
Walking into one of the biggest professional things that you have done or had done or
Yeah.
could be doing or may do.
Yeah.
So good on you, as hard as that was. And I know that, again, I'm sure you dealt with it later. You had to process it later. You're in the moment processing it, but you had that job to do in that moment, compartmentalizing. It's not easy. It's not a simple thing.
No.
It's heavy.
And I think I handled it better then because I've had other times where I was disappointed and crushed, right? And I get better and better at setting that aside. But I was thinking about when people walk into the office every day and you're carrying that personal stuff. You had a really rough morning. Nothing went as planned. You're now arriving late. You know, you had a fender bender. Your car broke down and you don't know how much it's going to cost to fix it. And you just Ubered to work. And you're being told, like, you got to leave that there. And now you're here and stay calm because now people are depending on you.
Yeah. And
You're
it's
a
a
leader.
huge reality of life. Like, it's just
Yeah.
as people functioning in a society, what we have to do. It's not always necessarily the healthiest thing for us, but it's a necessary thing and just the nature of life. Like you have to be able to separate things and have that ability to compartmentalize when it comes to work, and to focus and pull straight ahead. But again, we talked about like you have to process things also. Like the fact that you got in a fender bender is terrible and you've got a lot going on, but in this moment, there's absolutely zero I can do about it. I have to focus on the task at hand. And
Yeah. What's
it's
within your
hard.
control. And that comes to leading yourself effectively.
Yep.
This is not just about leading others, but how are you leading yourself to get through that? So I want to think about the upcoming Tri-State Leadership Summit because we're talking about leadership in some of these skill sets that we need to develop as a leader. And I'm really excited for this year's summit. We have some great speakers that are coming out, and we are going to be talking about actually resilience and the weight of leadership that we carry every day and how to bounce back more quickly. So I'm really excited about that.
I'll be looking forward to that for sure.
We have so many great topics that I feel like align with the most common challenges I hear from all my my clients. And that's why I feel like the pain points that you guys are bringing up are the things we're going to be talking about that day. And we're going to help you implement change based on that. We're going to help you focus on the one thing you need to know and how to best implement it. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But what are you looking forward to about the summit?
What I think is most impressive is the being a people person and being so engaged with people and loving people and being off the charts extrovert. Is I love the fact that you get in a room, people from geographically 3 different states and from wherever else. 4.
And the District of Columbia.
No big deal. It's totally fine. Different types of business, different walks of life, different stages of life, and all connecting and learning something together or from each other. I absolutely love that. Like we said earlier, like not every person knows all of the things. Yeah. But your ability to learn and take things, even though the business may be a different business, you're sure 99% of the people, 99.9% of the people watching this are not public information officers for a law enforcement agency. But understanding that what is being taught or the words that are being said can be adapted and changed into any aspect or any profession or into your personal life is so fascinating and fun and great to me. Like it all goes together. It's all the same. Yeah, it doesn't matter if I'm in IT. My challenges for leadership and the things that I have to say can be adapted to sales. It can be, and to learn and to take away those messages and those things. For me, yes, the people and what everybody has to offer each other. I'm really looking forward to that. And I love it. I love that piece of it.
I love that too. And I think that has been an important part of even screening our speakers, choosing people that we know can share something that resonates with every person in the room, no matter where they are in their career. Right? Yeah. No matter what their leadership role is, their situation is, I think that's huge. But I think it's important to set your intentions for the day as well. Walk in knowing what you want to take away. How do I want to grow today? So I'm actually sharing this for the first time.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So from 7:30 to 8 a.m. that morning, we're actually going to be rolling out something called Grounded for those that want to attend, an optional piece where we're having folks come in and set their intentions for the day. Set aside some time. We are going to have folks there to pray over our leaders and over the community and over the event, if that's something you want to be involved in, or maybe you just want time to yourself to sit quietly and reflect on, what do I need to get out of today to feel like this was a success and this was meaningful. So we're rolling out Grounded. We haven't shared it yet. We're going to have a special registration just for if you want to come to it. We just want to know how many are coming. Everybody's welcome. You do not have to be a person of faith. We're not going to have altar calls where that's not how we're rolling. But it's just for reflection and setting intention. So what do you think about it?
I absolutely love that. And it goes like, yes, what do you want to get out of this? You don't want to ever you don't go to a movie not expecting to see and get the storyline that you're expecting to see and hear. Yeah. What are you expecting to see and hear? And what do you want to take away from that? You go to a movie, you want to laugh, you want to cry, you want to be scared, whatever it is. And you know that. Those it naturally set. And to go in with purpose, to set your intentions for the day, and then to come together in self-reflection and reflecting together, I think is absolutely beautiful. I love it.
Yay, I'm glad. So we'll share that information. We'll get it out there. It's going to be on social media and stuff so people can register. And even people that aren't coming to the event and want to be more intentional in their leadership are invited to come. Even if they're not coming to TSLS, we're going to, we have a registration link where they can just come for that part or just be a part of praying over the leaders in the community. So
that's awesome.
It was Matt's idea. I'll give him credit from time to time. And when I do give him credit, by the way, he'll take this portion of the recording.
Of course he will.
And he has programmed my computer upon startup to play me saying how he is right.
I love it.
Just so you know. So this will be used against me.
That is not surprising.
That's what we do
for
fun around here.
I was going to say I expect nothing less from you guys.
But yeah, it was his idea. It's great. I'm excited. And we have a lot of folks that have offered to get involved and even share it with the church community.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So we're going to be recording some videos today
Yes.
to get some more information out there about the summit. Come August 1st, we go to like regular pricing. We're still in an early bird phase. So I'm doing a final push out there of anybody that wants to get registered and take advantage of those discounts, because if you know you're coming, why pay more?
Absolutely.
So go ahead and do that. Anything else you want to share about the event?
It's just such a cool time and a beautiful location. The Maryland Theater is just stunning. And just, it's invigorating. It's inspiring. It's fun. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool to know how, like, who's been in that building, who's been on that stage.
Yeah.
Like when we did the tour of it
Yeah, it
and
was
walked
pretty
through.
cool.
Like, I think that part is amazing. I just want to fill up that theater. I just want to feel the power of our entire region in one room.
Yeah.
Because when I walk into a chamber event, I tend to see the same people, and I love those people, and I'm happy to keep seeing those people. But to mix and mingle with people you've never met before. Talk about setting intentions. I want to meet 3 new people today that I've never met before, and I want to learn something from them.
Yeah.
That's fun to me.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
It's people. Life is about people, man.
Yeah.
Your leads aren't ghosting you. You're ghosting them. Work Smarter Digital gives small businesses a fully built, ready-to-run CRM sales system so you can stop wasting months setting up software and start following up tomorrow. Don't leave your revenue hanging. Start working smarter today. Visit WorkSmarterDigital.com to learn more and book a demo. That's WorkSmarterDigital.com. You don't need more information. You just need a way to follow through. Aspire to Achieve is a monthly group accountability experience designed to help you stay consistent, raise your standards, and actually execute on what you say matters. Each month, we come together to make clear commitments, talk through challenges, share strategies, and celebrate progress, all in a space that keeps you focused and moving forward. It's simple, it's supportive, and it works. If you've been setting goals but struggling to stay consistent, this might be your next step. Check it out in the show notes or at SierraLearnership.com. That's SierraLearnership.com. This isn't just a local event. It's a regional gathering of business owners, executives, and organizational leaders from across Maryland, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Virginia. If you're serious about growing your leadership or your business, this is the room you want to be in. Join us on October 14th at the Maryland Theater in Hagerstown, Maryland. Secure your seat at theTSLS.com. That's theTSLS.com.
I also have to mention we are in our 10 rounds this year.
Yes.
I am going up against a mystery person. We're jumping into the ring with a mystery person. It's not going to be Jay Foreman. We love Jay Foreman. He will still be there. But I am excited to see who's in the ring with me this year.
This is so exciting. 10 rounds was fun. Such a cool thing. The audience participation part of the voting and all of the graphics and the animations and the stuff was so fun, so quick hitting, like no pun intended, but it was just, so quick hitting. And it was fun. Like it was super cool.
Yeah, I thought you made it fun too, being the announcer.
Well, I got my referee shirt. I did a wardrobe change.
Yeah.
I had to be ready.
Yeah. So for those that don't know what 10 rounds is, when you are registering for the event, you get to share what questions you have about leadership. And we take those questions and at random, 10 of those pop up. Each one is around. We each have a certain amount of time to answer the question. And then the audience live votes on whose was best. What resonated with you? What would you implement? And I lost to Jay Foreman, which was very upsetting for me because here's the thing. I beat him when we did it with one of my clients. Yes. I beat him there, but the audience was like a size of 30 people. Yeah. And then he comes in front of the Maryland Theater
and he's like, I am the champ.
Butt.
He didn't kick your butt. It was close.
It was close, actually. Yeah.
yeah.
I think it was like a tiebreaker.
It was.
End.
The last round was a tiebreaker.
Yeah. Okay. Well. All right. I'll give myself a little more credit.
You definitely should.
I hope to win the belt this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was really cool because this isn't like this wasn't pre-planned. Like this was random questions again that the attendees submitted. This wasn't something like this is who we are. We're giving it to you real quick.
Yeah. This is what you asked
calm
for.
under pressure.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, thanks for being a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
And I want to give a little preview of the direction we're going. So in 2027, because we already have a plan and a date and everything, we're also doing a parallel virtual experience.
Oh, great.
And we have a separate MC for that.
Nice.
So excited about that. But despite not being virtual this year, I have to say right now, I do have folks from Texas flying in.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's see how far we can
my gosh,
branch
congratulations.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How exciting.
Yeah. So I think we're going to make this big.
Yeah.
I think
so.
people are really going to grow. Thanks again for being here, Lisa.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time. There are so many other things you could be doing today, like spending an hour and a half on yourself. But you chose to be here.
What? No, absolutely. I love it. I love every time that I speak with you or we have a conversation or we're in the same room. You naturally bring a calm. There's something, and I can just imagine you as an educator with just your voice and your delivery and your confidence in everything that you say. It makes you feel good. It makes the people around you feel good and feel more confident in themselves. So thank you for providing that to us.
Of course. And that's something that's taken a lot of work.
Yeah.
That did not come naturally, talking about what comes naturally.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again. And thank you for sticking through to the end of the episode. I really hope you found value and you found something that resonated with you, that you feel more confident, that you can keep calm, that you know that calm isn't an accident. It takes practice. It takes time, and it's not just something that comes naturally to everyone. Even those people who do appear to be calm under pressure have probably really worked at it, and it was not that way for them. So I also would love you for you to share this episode with those in your network that you feel like could benefit. We are working on getting this out there more, sharing it on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We're putting out more reels. Follow us on social media. Be a part of this podcast. Submit your questions so we can answer them. We don't want this just to be a conversation for us. We want this to be an opportunity to answer your questions and keep adding value to you. Thanks again to our sponsor, Work Smarter Digital, for sponsoring this season. We love you, Mary Sue, and all that you do for us as a part of Tri-State Leadership Summit, supporting SLC and everything that we do. So thank you. And if you're listening and you feel like your organization is in alignment with what we are doing here at Branching Out, our mission to take leadership skills and really break them down into everyday practices, we'd love to hear from you and get you involved in the podcast as well. Thanks again, and until next time, keep branching out. Before we wrap up today's episode, I want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for choosing to spend your time here. I don't take that lightly, and I'm really grateful you're a part of this community. If something from today's conversation resonated with you, I want to encourage you to do a couple of things. First, take one small step. Not everything, just one. Growth doesn't come from hearing more, it comes from applying what you already know. And second, share this episode with someone who could benefit from it. These conversations are meant to spark growth, and you never know who might need to hear exactly what you just heard. If you haven't already, be sure to follow or subscribe to Branching Out with Sierra so you don't miss future episodes.
And if you believe in this mission, helping people apply leadership skills to everyday life, and you're interested in sponsoring the podcast, I'd love to connect. You can find more information in the show notes or reach out directly. Quick note before we close, this podcast is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. While we share insights and experiences to support your growth, it's always important to apply what fits your situation and seek professional guidance when needed. And finally, I want you to hear this, no matter where you are in your journey, whether you are leading a team, growing a business, navigating change, or just trying to show up better each day, you are exactly where you need to be to take your next step. And you have the ability to positively influence others in every interaction you have. I'm rooting for you, I believe in your growth, and I'm here to support you along the way. Thanks for being here.